Adam has arrived.
Hey, Maurice and Odie gonna take over like Zach and Cody. Blackish Nerdy is the best podcast. Gonna boom like Wile E. Coyote. Gonna meet magic, they move like they hairy. And talking about mental health, no, it's not scary. You know that she coming up with the astrology. Mo got a comic and that's the best policy. Maurice the goat, talking about animation cause you know. Odie, she moving wavy like the boat. Watching some movies and she taking notes. Yeah, kick back, listen. Blackish Nerdy have risen. Upload on a mission. 5 stars, never dissing. Blackish Nerdy, ooh. Blackish Nerdy, yeah. Blackish Nerdy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blackest Nerdy Podcast, the only podcast where two sexy black nerds get together to shoot the shit. I am Mo, aka Kid Licorish.
And I'm Odie.
And together we are the aforementioned Snerds here on episode 176 of the Blackest Nerdy Podcast. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing great because we're back in New York.
Finally, we are back.
Finally.
We took a trip out of state.
We went to go visit my family in North Carolina.
Shout out to them for hosting us.
Great. Got to see my sister,
Mhm.
my mom, the
Mhm.
babies, of course,
Mhm.
my brother-in-law.
Mhm.
It was nice.
And then we got trapped.
Yes, because
A
of the-
blizzard hit New York.
this was not a scheduled blizzard. I mean, they had been talking about it was going to snow before we even left. They had been saying it's going to snow. Nothing was happening, and then literally the Saturday
It got dialed up into a blizzard.
and they were like, everyone was going crazy. I was hoping it wasn't going to be as bad, but it was. And flight was canceled. And we were supposed to leave on Monday. We couldn't get back until Wednesday today. So,
Yeah, we literally had to stay an extra 2 days. And my dad called me because in our family, traditionally, we have what we know or what we refer to as the sands.
yes, I do know that.
Yes. In my family, we refer to our time together as the sands. We love each other. We love spending time together. We enjoy each other's company. But much like the sands of time in a sundial, not sundial, what's it called? A sand timer?
Sand timer.
Yeah, sand timer. Much like the sands in a sand timer, our appreciation for each other has a limit. And when that sand runs out, we need to get the fuck back to our homes. We need to get out of that space so that we can reflect on the time that we had together in a prosperous and happy way, as opposed to staying past the time running out. And then things get weird.
Were you feeling sands with my family?
Yes, I was. And your family's lovely. To their credit, I like your family. They're all really nice and fun and funny and stuff. But here's the thing. I can't stand being around most people for a certain amount of time. So when I have a trip, I mentally and physically prepare myself to spend that time with those people for that amount of time.
Mm.
If I have to stay longer than what I was mentally and physically prepared for, I start to lose it, quite frankly. And I'm no good to anybody in that kind of space. I'm not. Like, what did I say? I'm a extroverted introvert. I could turn on the charm and be lively and, be around people for a certain set amount of time. But it takes me a while to prepare myself and prepare my body for such an endeavor.
Right. I mean, I'm glad to be home. And I'm both glad to be home. And also, I miss my family, mainly the babies.
Sure.
It's like you see them and then you don't see them again for a while, and they've grown like a whole foot.
Mhm.
So that part's fun, but it's always great to be home. Like,
Yes, it is good to be home.
we are childless
Yes.
people, so like the noise level different, the amount of things you're expected are different. I mean, I want to say, like, I wish that I could give my sister a medal
Mhm.
because, like, just has the amount she's doing all the hard work that you have to do, like, just as a regular adult,
Mhm.
and then also killing it as a mom. You know,
Yeah.
because I think that makes a difference when people actually want kids.
Yeah.
Of like how they manage the different things that you sacrifice throughout the just day with being with them, because all the things that you want to do, they come second, whatever that is. You want to go to the bathroom, you want to take a shower, you want to eat something, like everything goes to second, or should go second place to your kids, especially when a child is young, because they would depend on you so much, right?
Yes.
So at that point, every adult in the space is in service to this little being and just making sure that they're happy, healthy, and alive.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And that's a lot. Like, it's especially like when you're not just at home. Because like at home, it's like once you get to a certain age, there's specific things that you know you can do. But once you get to go outside, that's a totally different ballgame.
It is a totally different
like the
ballgame.
amount of attention,
And to have kids that are like essentially like back to back,
yeah,
Irish twins, as it were.
mm-hmm.
It's very difficult, I would say, to like manage. But your sister seems to be doing a dope job.
I mean, it's, even though I know it's obviously still hard, and there's still things that she probably feels like, oh, I'm not doing well enough. I want to say shout out to you, to my sister Sade, crushing it for her, to her and her husband, both of them working full-time jobs and doing other like side jobs and things like that, and stuff on the side, and still being, top tier parents.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Most definitely. Yeah.
And you can see it with the babies because they're so like loving, affectionate, kind.
A lot of love in that house.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of love, especially with I would say the younger one.
Oh yeah.
Very affectionate when it comes to mommy.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much daddy, but the older one makes up with that, I would say.
Well, babies, the thing is, until they're like, once they get to like really when they've been weaned, so maybe until 2, they're really just like attached to their moms.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
I think it's like you're a part of this person for a whole 9 months. You come out, you're breastfeeding, and all this stuff. Everything is just connected to mommy. Like it's. I think that with Desi, her personality is a little different. So like she generally like doesn't mind like being. She's been more accustomed to being with different people.
Sure.
Outside of, because Kato was just with her. Like it would just be like, this is them, like one body. And so like it's great that Desi, because she's a second born, she's used to having like her attention going a lot of different places.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You can pick her up and play with her and hang out. You have probably like 20 minutes until she's like, all right, I want to go back to
if that, quite frankly.
That, yeah.
Like I went in with a single mission to make that small child smile or laugh.
Yeah.
And mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. She was giving you hugs by the end.
She was giving me hugs by the end.
Showing you her baby doll.
Yeah, she was showing me her purse, and it was a great feeling. Like I'm good with kids. I'm naturally good with kids. But I always understand that like kids can be a little wary, and rightfully so, of like some stranger coming up in there. Like I'm not always I know you call them all the time and you have your little routine of being like, hey, this girl, with her on FaceTime, and meanwhile my ass is sitting there playing Risk and just going like, yeah, what's up? So I know that there's a little bit of a hurdle with establishing a rapport with that baby, but I did, and I accomplished my goal.
Mhm.
So,
And next time when we see her, she's gonna be a little bit bigger.
mhm,
She's still gonna have these memories of like seeing us, so that it continues to grow.
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's the part where when people are like, "Oh, why doesn't your kid ever like talk to me?" Or as they get older, they never like hang out. But like, you gotta be willing to hang out with the kids.
Yeah.
In
You
their
gotta
element when they're little.
hang out with the
You
kids.
gotta hang out with them. You gotta be able to play. Like she kept making me this play tea or soup or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm eating fake stuff off the spoon,
Sure.
giving it back. We're enjoying. It probably is gonna be like 10 minutes until she wants to do something very different, just like be a baby. But when we went to my sister and we were like, "Oh, what were you doing?" And we were like, "Were you playing?" And then I was like, "Yeah, we were doing this and that." And like she was like, "Oh, this was so fun. I had the best time." It's these little things that
Yeah.
make sure that you leave, pieces for them to remember. You can't just they're not gonna just sit down.
Mhm.
Like, and I would say Desi, for being her age, is really chill. Like she can sit down and watch something with you for a good amount of time. Like she plays with her stuff.
She watched K-pop Demon Hunter with you.
The whole movie, she loved it. Which
She liked it.
She-
Didn't love it. She liked it.
okay, but she was dancing.
Was she?
She was dancing. She was doing her little.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
I couldn't watch it with Kata because I didn't realize, like, there's things that you think of when you think about kids of like what's violent or not. But
yeah, you tried to ask your sister if it was okay to watch wrestling on the big screen, and even I knew that. Like,
I was making sure.
no,
That if
why?
if
no,
you wanted to watch it, if we could be watched, if not while the kids are there, if not, then like
I didn't even ask. I'm like,
Well-
he's a 3-year-old child. That is too young to be introducing a small child to the concept of big burly men in tights giving each other headlocks and suicide dives, and which is the name of the move.
yes.
That's the name of the move.
No, I agree. Because then he would probably try to start doing that with that
He already tried to square up with me.
Yes. Well, I was telling him this is queer.
I told him I'm a pacifist, so I don't do that.
But no, they're very impressionable. Anything you watch can be turned into something else you gotta be mindful. But
She's trying to turn this kid into a fucking Ninja Turtle.
I am not.
Yeah, you are. You literally was like, square up. And I'm like, this is indoctrination if I've ever seen it. You are trying to teach a 3-year-old child to fight.
No, he's already gonna be fighting.
You don't know that.
Yeah,
You don't know that.
He watches submarines and
which is also some propaganda.
It is. That's
it's some propaganda.
We were watching it. I was like, this is propaganda.
Yeah.
Forget the bad submarine.
Yeah. He
But
likes submarines.
All kid stuff is propaganda. It's so much propaganda.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, it's all about quality control. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you introduce your kids to some dope shit, then they'll grow up liking dope shit.
Yeah. Because he would, and he was very mindful. Because when I first put on K-pop Demon Hunters, and then the beginning on the plane, they're like killing demons or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, this is a weapon show. We can't watch this." And I was like, "Huh?" And he's like, "No, this is too many weapons."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh,
though
yeah."
He also likes the submarine one with the torpedo.
But though it's not like, I think it's different when you're not seeing people. Like you explain. Like, this is not, we shouldn't want to blow.
Sure, when it's a vehicle firing on another vehicle, that's different than.
It's a little different than the person.
You
just don't explain people get hurt. Like, he understands that. Like, I don't want people to be on the
submarine,
but it's different versus seeing like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, no, it differs from just seeing musical Korean girls fighting demons.
Yeah.
With swords and knives and
and the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah, sure. Sure. My only regret when we were supposed to leave on Sunday. When we were supposed to leave on Monday. On Sunday, I had purchased some replacement beer. They had Heineken's for us. Well, they had Heineken's, period. They were drinking Heineken's too, but they had Heineken's. We drank a lot of them. I thought it would be nice to replenish their Heineken's with a 24 pack.
Yeah.
Then we found out we would be staying for additional time.
So you wanted to get some more?
I was going to get some more, but by the time I remembered to do that, the liquor store was closed, and the next day we were leaving out before the liquor store could open.
Oh.
So that 24
was it all gone?
Pack of Heineken's was dwindled down to one.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't want to drink the last one because
you could send another pack.
That would have been rude.
Heineken.
That would have been rude to drink the last one.
Yeah. Send a new one to aid in the household drinking.
Sure. I will send them a 12 pack.
All right.
They don't need a 24 pack.
Did you
12 pack's fine. What?
Did you say how you're doing?
I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm glad and grateful to be back here in New York. Still on the job hunt.
Yeah.
And yeah, times are getting kind of a little bit to the wire.
To the wire.
Yeah. But hopefully something will come through soon.
Yeah.
Because boy, oh boy.
That's all we can hope for.
That's all we can hope for. Do my due diligence and see what shakes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go into the pop culture?
I most certainly am. You don't know which one it is.
I was going to make a guess.
It's the same. It hasn't changed.
Folks, where's the lie?
It's the only. That is a little bit upsetting.
It's a little bit upsetting.
It's the only button. It never changes. You've hit literally each one.
When you want to feel it's not a big deal, what you gonna pick?
Pop topics.
Well, got there eventually.
That is a little bit upsetting.
Well, you know what else is a little bit upsetting?
What?
By now, everyone should have seen or heard or talked about the BAFTAs.
BAFTAs.
Now, what is BAFTA?
BAFTA. Not to be confused with a bathtub. Not to be confused with a raft scrub. Yeah, we are only talking about BAFTAs. Yeah.
The British Academy Film Awards.
Film and Television Awards.
Yes, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts has this honor for British and international film contributors. So I guess that's like what the British.
I would say it's like
Oscars?
British Oscars or British
Academy Awards.
Yeah, British Academy Awards.
All right. So if you did not know, I would play the clip, but I feel like we'll get dinged.
Can't. Yeah.
So,
but
at this weekend, at the BAFTA Awards,
yes,
there was Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo came up to announce an award. I think it was for like best animation or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
While they're up there was a man who was there promoting his film. His name is John Davidson. He has a film called I Swear that was nominated. So he was there, along with all the rest of the nominees.
For a little bit more context, the gentleman, John Davidson, his film chronicles his life with Tourette's.
Yes.
He has Tourette's.
So Tourette syndrome, if you don't know, it's a condition where the person can have tics, whether physical tics or verbal tics or stims, where they might shout things out. Could be a variety of things.
They do or say involuntary things.
Yeah. So now I don't know if you remember. Did you ever watch like MTV's True Life?
No, but I did watch an episode of South Park that covered Tourette's. It did. It covered it. It honestly, that South Park episode was kind of enlightening because it wasn't just making the idea of that episode wasn't making fun of people with Tourette's. It was making fun of the character Cartman, who was taking advantage of the condition of Tourette's, while also being enlightening that people with Tourette's have different ways that manifests.
Exactly.
So like it's not just verbal, it could be physical, it could be like involuntary spasms, it could be like motions or what have you. But it did cover a wide range of what Tourette's can be. Yes.
And I will say, when I watched the MTV True Life documentary, it was the point of education because it followed several different like young people who had Tourette's, the type of their life, etc. And yeah, so if you the bare minimum that if you've heard or thought about or seen someone with this condition, you know that there's a lot of involuntary things that can be said and done, etc. Now, unfortunately, during this event, Mr. Davidson shouted out the N-word while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were announcing the award winner. Now, the BAFTAs allegedly, from what we've read, that before the award show and during, they made announcements that there was a nominee here who has Tourette's. He might say things that are offensive, they're involuntary, etc. The whole spiel. Throughout the night, he did shout various different things out at people. However, and this is what I think is my main issue, the BAFTA Awards, they cut out a bunch of those shout outs that he said.
Yes.
They did not cut out the shouting of the N-word, which had been said. I think one of the nominees along with one of the nominees with the Sinners cast, I think she's a background designer or something. She has said that he had directed at her, but it happened multiple times. It was only shown once, and the BAFTAs are pre-recorded, so there's a 2-hour delay.
Yes, and apparently there was an instance where he yelled out like something that was homophobic, or mentioned the P word for people who like youths. I can't say that word, but you know, those PDF files. Yeah, he said that. He said PDF files, and they edited that out. So, with that being said, my issue is not necessarily with John Davidson. I understand that John Davidson has what would you call it? A condition?
Yeah, condition.
Okay. I understand that John Davidson has a condition. It causes him to say things that are out of his control, right? The responsibility falls on the BAFTAs to, cut that shit out of the broadcast because they can, because they did. They cut out the PDF file and the other instances of that were abhorrent and offensive. they mic'd him for some reason, or they mic'd his table.
They mic'd his table.
Which, in my mind, from somebody who has been on the production side of things, like, you can turn that mic off.
I really think they would,
even if you can't anticipate when he's gonna say something or what have you. It feels like that table should have been mic turned off for the majority of the night, unless people were actually pointing him out or seeking his acknowledgement or something like that.
I think they did that to troll him. And even in an article, in an interview he did, he said that as I reflect on the auditorium, I remember there was a microphone just in front of me. And with hindsight, I have to question whether this was wise. So close to where I was seeing, knowing I would tick. And that's the thing where I feel like, outside of him saying any things that could have been like racist or homophobic or whatever, I feel like the BAFTAs did this in a way to see what they could get, like what material, like what things they could use that would have been like to laugh at him, right? Because if you know someone has verbal tics, they've warned you, you've warned the audience, it would make sense that unless he has something that he's going to say where you could bring him over a mic, he's going to be included in a segment or whatever, that you would not put this there. I just feel like that was a trolling move. Like 50 Cent must be on their board. Because why would you do that? And if it was not for you to somehow get some kind of content, something that he would shout out that you think people might think was funny or exclamatory.
In the grand scheme of things, we're talking about the BAFTAs. And in the attention economy that we currently live in, there's no such thing as bad press. I mean, we're literally talking about the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
We would not have been talking about the BAFTAs, quite frankly.
No, we wouldn't.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I would have.
I never remember.
Even if you would have said in pre-production, hey, I would like to talk about the BAFTAs 2026, I would have looked at you and said, no, we already have. We already mentioned Golden Globes. Let's keep it to 3. We can keep it to Academy Awards, maybe the Golden Globes, and maybe the Emmys.
But I think that's the thing where the BAFTAs, even though they are huge.
There's a fucking Screen Actors Guild award coming up soon, and I'm like, I don't want to necessarily cover that. That's on Netflix. I don't care.
But I think they did it to gain some sort of traction. And now that the thing about it is, though, this situation has backfired for them because there have been tons of Black British folks who have come out to speak about how they have had issue with the BAFTAs, BBC, like British television and film, etc., for years because of some of the racist treatment. Because I think a lot of folks, especially if you've not spent a lot of time abroad in Europe specifically, a lot of Black people might think that Europe is better for Black people in case of racism, because the racism is different, right? We know that there have been, well, even there, it's still different. Like even in,
I question that line of thinking that the racism in Europe is better than the racism in America.
I mean, it's good. You should question it, but that is something that
a lot of people
think that
I would acknowledge
the same type of racism we do.
I would acknowledge that the racism is different from American racism. I wouldn't say that the racism is better. You know what I mean? Like that's the wildest thing in my mind.
Racism.
Saying that, oh, racism is better here as opposed to here. That's like saying that, like, oh, like this country has a nuclear bomb, but this country has a different nuclear bomb, and it's so much, it's greener, it's more locally sourced. It is farm to table nuclear bomb. The radiation actually does wonders for your pores. All right, everybody is going for that Chernobyl look. You know, like that is
you are
the
correct.
most ridiculous
You
thing
are correct.
I've ever heard.
But there are so many people, specifically I'm talking about Black people, who will say that they like want to move to Europe or whatever, or the experiences that we know that other Black people who moved to France or wherever to like write and during like civil rights movements, like, oh, things were better for Black people, like so we could be there. There might be some racism light, but it's better than being over here at the States. And in reality, in Europe, it is not. I wouldn't even. It might look different, but it's still as annoying and terrible and fucked up. But the Black Brits have been excited for
those Black Brits.
The Black Brits have been excited because of the fact that
those Black Brits are so excited and they just can't hide it.
That Black Americans have like joined the fray, because obviously, if I think the N word for Black people across the diaspora, we're going to turn up for, right? But I think this situation, especially because it is was targeted, or the people that were being targeted or on the screen were Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo.
Yeah,
we had even more of a stake in it because we know who these people are. The whole situation's crazy. We're going to be talking about it. And I think that now, like, BAFTAs have been trying to, and the BBC, they're like going back and forth about trying to apologize. All this is coming out. They were playing Malcolm X today or something like that, because they're like, we have these Black Americans on our necks.
Oi, Malcolm X.
That's
no one man should have all that power.
But I think that this is the part of like when I talk about being Black, like calling yourself Black is like the umbrella term of protection.
Yeah,
this is what I mean. We need Black people to stand in solidarity with each other, not in like having diaspora wars or any other bullshit. But we need to know when something goes down, you're gonna have to mess with one of us. You're gonna have to mess with all of us. And I think this situation is twofold. It's the racism and the ableism. Mm-hmm. Because the BAFTAs left both groups out to dry.
Yeah.
And there was actually a Black woman with Tourette's that I saw that she was in, she did an interview, and I wanted to share her thoughts because she had been making just, her perspective on it on her account. And then she did an interview with a podcast. Let me pick it up and share.
Boy, the Black Brits really have it down, knickers park.
What was the last part?
Park.
What is that?
Like pack.
Oh my God.
Like PACT.
All right.
Don't get your knickers in a bunch, love.
So,
Done right with those threats, isn't it?
The woman speaking is at Versatile Less on Instagram, and she is a DJ.
Speaking from a perspective of being Black and having Tourette's, I feel like that statement didn't suffice.
She was
that
talking about the first
needed to be scratched.
I
feel like he could have apologized for his disability, but however, due to the impact, he sort of apologized for the impact and then immediately educated. So let us know where like you did pick up the N-word from. Let us know how. Let us know how that came into your bank of your tits. Let us know that. Let us know the source of why that was in your tick vocabulary. I'll say, right? Because at the end of the day, he can't control when it comes out, but it's there because he's picked it up, right? Because of echopraxia or echopalia, right? And when it comes out, it's now quadripalia because it's a racial slur, right? And so like he's blurting out. So for me, an apology for the impact plus an educational moment for everyone could have at least helped a little bit for understanding. But obviously not for like total impact, but just to understand, okay, this is Tourette's, this is like this is how it forms, this is how it manifests, and but also I understand and acknowledge the impact of me blurting that out, especially at that time, how it impacted the Black community and also the history behind that word.
Okay, so a couple of things with this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, what's his name? John Davidson?
Yeah.
I think John Davidson could have used his newly found platform to lead with an apology while also educating people about Tourette's. I understand that in the article Variety that I read, that he said that he has reached out to Warner Brothers in an attempt to apologize to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan and the third person, I forget her name, Hannah Belcher, in order to offer an apology. I understand that completely. There is a point to be made about how, like, you come across certain words. Like, the N-word is not just a word that forms magically in everybody's brain. You must have heard that somewhere. You must have been given that word in a context to mean a derogatory slur towards Black people. And with that knowledge, that is now in you. So now it can be utilized as a tick at some point. Like it's literally a ticking time bomb at some point within somebody who has Tourette's. Like I'm saying, like, that there should be an acknowledgement, much like she said, that even if it, like, I accept that he didn't, this is an involuntary thing. This is a brain thing that literally forced him to think of the worst possible thing to say to these two amazing Black people. There should be acknowledgement of where that came from, so as to make sure that it is not necessarily from a place of hate. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that I'm let me clarify. I'm not saying that word came up while they were on stage because in his heart he has hate. What I'm saying is that there probably should be some proactivity to make sure that was never the case. You know what I mean?
Okay, maybe
because
let me make sure I'm clear. So
yeah.
when you say proactivity to make sure that was never the case, do you say that mean that, like, he should never, if he had never seen or heard the word, he wouldn't have had that in his repertoire?
No. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. This is going to be a wild thing to say. I completely understand that. And I'm warning my audience that what I'm about to say might be a bit wild.
Warning.
I think that as far as Tourette's goes, like, that is a condition that nobody can control.
Yeah.
Right? Racism and hatred in your heart for races and different races and stuff, that's something that can be controlled and that, can be unlearned or learned or what have you. Like, that's not like a component that's embedded into people naturally. Like, that's learned behavior, right? With that being said, I think that just because somebody has a disability doesn't necessarily mean that they are not racist.
Oh, for 100%. That's true, because I think that is what.
And if you just so happen to have the disability of Tourette's, and that makes itself known through a racial slur, you should be making sure that everybody knows that does not come from a place of racial hatred.
Yeah, I think that this is something that Black people with variety of disabilities talk about all the time, how much racism there is within the disabled community.
Sure.
If you have a disability, if you have a condition or whatever, chronic illness, there is still so much racism that you're getting, not from outside sources, but those people in the space.
Sure.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten or seen a back and forth when it comes in about racism in like ADHD communities, the neurodivergent community, etc. Because a lot of white people, they think the moment they have one thing that could put them into a marginalized section, that all of their learned whiteness is somehow forgotten. And the thing about it is, if you are a person, doesn't matter what your color, your race, ethnicity, religion, etc. is, we grew up in racist societies across the world. Our societies, they're racist, they're colorist, they're homophobic, they're xenophobic. That's just how our society has unfortunately evolved. So this man, he may not have, was he growing up hearing that in his household? Who knows? But I can bet you in his life, in growing up in the UK, he's probably heard somebody say it, or he's seen someone say it. So you have that's there in your mind, the same as so many other derogatory terms are in our heads. Like, and if he has what was the word? Coprolalia, which is the medical term to describe the involuntary outbursts of obscene or socially inappropriate words by people with Tourette syndrome. Like, maybe it's such as simple as seeing somebody and thinking of like, oh my God, what's the worst thing that could possibly be said? I don't want to say that, and you accidentally say it, right? This is something that we cannot control, because people without Tourette's, we have intrusive thoughts, right? There's people that you might see and you might know a negative term about them, and it might be like, oh my God, like, could you imagine if this came out of my head? Like, that would be terrible. But thankfully, if you don't have Tourette's, you can control yourself. You don't say it. But in this situation, that did not happen. And I think that it's a fine line between having someone apologize for their condition or disability or whatever, versus someone apologizing for the impact. And I think that's really what's needed here, because his first statement he made right after it, to me, didn't really read as an apology. Not specifically for, I said something that was extremely racist and hurtful, because the same thing is, if he said something homophobic to Alan Cumming,
which we wouldn't know because BAFTA's edited that out,
because he allegedly said something homophobic. What word was, I don't know, but if he dropped the F-bomb and he said that, and he said to him, I understand that I have this condition, but I apologize for how you might have been impacted. That's it. Like, because at the end of the day, there's nothing else you could do, and you can't spend your life apologizing. That's why you had a announcement in the beginning. They put that there to let people know shit might go down. Please know that this is not this man's fault, because he shouldn't have to be going around the day like shaking hands and saying apology, right? But in this instance, we know that it wasn't your fault, but also you have to say something. And he did. He walked it back, and he did his proper apology. He's reaching out to them to talk, all that. But I think that at the end of the day, the people who should be getting their feet held to the fire the most is the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Because they're the organization around it.
They had the time and the resources to edit that shit out. They did not.
And the wherewithal to not put in the mic.
They didn't have to put the mic on him. And if they did put the mic on him, they could have turned that mic off. And also, like they legitimately, like it'd be one thing if they just did the broadcast unedited, but they did take a bunch of things out, but they left this thing in.
And
That's an active choice.
And even when they like apologized afterwards, they didn't say, to the Black community, to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy. They didn't. Delroy Lindo said they didn't even talk.
They
to him
didn't even
afterwards.
talk to him. That's my big thing. My big thing is like nobody came up to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan to apologize, to make things right or anything like that. Like
when they sent Alan Cumming to do their dirty work of apologizing to the crowd, they did not have him do a specific. Like, this is not just calling someone a bitch or cunt or whatever. We know the history of this word.
Yeah.
We know the damage it has done historically and even right now to this day. So we're going to make sure we apologize for this specific instance because this was something that is embarrassing. There are apparently there are Black people leaving in tears because you could understand that something is not intentional and also still be hurt by it, especially because of how jarring that has to be in a room and you're hearing someone shouting the N-word out. Like, you might not be able to understand, but it's still going to be hurtful. And that's still like something that BAFTAs should be taking care of and not sweeping under the rug because you can't blame it on an intern or something like that because WB, Warner Brothers called them and said,
the fact that
take it out.
WB, one of the most evil companies that exists to this day. I'm never gonna like I can say that because they're never gonna pick up any of my scripts or my stories or anything like that. I'm never gonna be a showrunner for WB or anything like that. So I have no problem with admitting this. WB is one of the most dumbest, evilest, richest companies in the world. They make money moves and they do things for profit. The fact that even they had the wherewithal to say, y'all should take this shit out says a lot about the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
BAFTAs, all of your nonsense, everything that you did, from the broadcasting of the word to the follow-up and the PR marketing nonsense that you've been doing, guess what?
Warning.
Wrong drop.
Well, warning.
But guess what? Miss me with it because you literally had time. You had time to take feedback and initiate a game plan. What you did was not say apologies to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan. You essentially hung Black people and people with
Tourette's.
People with Tourette's. You hung two people out to dry, two groups of people out to dry. And worst of all, like you hung Alan Cumming out to dry.
Yeah. Well,
because he's a delight.
He is a delight.
I always remember him from Spy Kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, no, the BAFTAs, they're going to have to call them the BlackFTAs after this. They're going to have to, like,
they're the
year,
WACTAs.
because one of the, I completely forgot to put him in here, but one of
Cractas.
the Black men who was, like, on the board for the BAFTAs stepped down because he was just, like, the way that they've approached this. It's terrible. So I hope that nobody watches next year. And let's look at the analytics from this year and next year and see how y'all tank. Because they also edited out someone said free Palestine, and they edited that out of her speech.
Thought it was a man who said it.
It was a man. Hold on.
Yeah. They edited out free Palestine. They made choices with this production, and quite frankly,
correct.
The BAFTA.
Akinola Davies Jr.
Yeah. The BAFTAs made many choices, and all of those choices were poor. So, kind of have to say, fuck the BAFTAs from the front to the BAFTA. Fuck them. Fuck the BAFTAs.
Fuck the BAFTAs.
I guess I will never win a BAFTA if ever I'm in a Black Mirror episode, which I guess it wouldn't even happen since Netflix has Black Mirror, and they're more American now.
Well,
So,
you can go to Emmy.
well, I guess I won't be in the reboot of the Doctor Who.
Isn't that on someone's now?
Hmm?
Who shows Doctor Who now?
Oh, Disney showed the last like 2 seasons. It was terrible.
Well,
But either way, BAFTAs, I think, in the grand scheme of things, I can finally use this drop. BAFTAs,
You've got to do better, Senator.
you gotta do better, BAFTAs, because otherwise, fuck you.
all right. So
So that's enough of the BAFTAs. We've cracked of on the BAFTAs. I don't even know how the device heard
I don't know.
that, but
moving on.
the
we-
BAFTAs are an afterthought now.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black. It is still Black
It's still
History
Black
Month.
History Month, and every Black History Month, the whites always cut up.
Yes.
And even more so,
Just like during Halloween, there will always be somebody who is white in blackface. During Black History Month, there is always some racial chicanery.
yeah. And speaking of racial chicanery, a professor at Hunter College.
Now I want to name somebody Rachel Chicanery.
Well, it would be a good name.
That would be a great name for a fictional Karen.
Allison Friedman interrupted a child's talk to the district about losing her school in the Upper West Side, and she didn't know that they could hear her, and she had a few choice words. And I'm going to play this video, and I really want everyone to focus in on all of the different faces.
Who doesn't know they're in a bad school? I mean, fuck. But apparently Martin Luther King said it. Like, if you train a Black person well enough, they'll know to use the back. You don't have to tell them anymore. Who doesn't know they're in a bad school? I mean, fuck. But apparently Martin Luther King said it. Like, if you train a Black person well enough, they'll know to use the back. You don't have to tell them anymore. Who doesn't know they're in a...
All right. So let me read to you. If you
First
didn't-
off, Kristen Flagg up in the upper left-hand corner was literally trying to shush that person. If you look at the video again, Kristen Flagg, who is over there in the upper left-hand corner trying to put the librarian shush on. Like, shh, do not speak.
So there was an 8th grade student who was speaking on the Community Action School forum.
Put it back on us.
And while she's speaking, if you couldn't tell because it was a little bit garbled, Allison is saying they're too dumb to know they're in a bad school. If you train a Black person well enough, they'll use the back. You don't have to tell them anymore. So her response to this was during the February 10th CEC3 meeting, there was this discussion about systemic racism and educational equity, which references to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the work of Carter G. Woodson, as well as school closures. Separately, during the meeting, as a parent, I was trying to explain the concept of systemic racism by referencing a historical example. Due to an inadvertent unmute, part of the conversation was captured. My remarks were not directed at the student speaker, and they do not reflect my beliefs or values. Regardless of context, my words were wrong and caused real harm. I take full responsibility for their impact, and I am deeply sorry to the students, families, educators, and community members who were hurt. I immediately sent written apologies to Dr. Higgins, the Community Action School, and the Community Education Council. I support the Community Action School and its mission, and I regret adding any pain or distraction at a moment when the community's concerns about the DOE school closure process deserved full attention. I am committed to accountability and repairing harm. I hope that you're committed to finding a new job because Hunter needs to snip, snip. You can go work at Liberty University.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Trump's University, if that's still a thing. I'm sure there's a lot of ones that you could say this and nobody would care. Because I don't believe you, ma'am. I don't believe you. What part of the history, just to read again what she said, they're too dumb to know they're in a bad school. If you train a black person well enough, they'll know to use the back. You don't have to tell them anymore. At what point are you reading a monologue? Did someone say this? Because I don't know how this is teaching my child anything but the opposite of racial equity in schools.
I'm just confused by the quote. If you train them well enough, they'll use the back. Back what? Like the back? What is the back?
The back door? Who knows?
The back door?
I don't know.
The back alleys? The back. I don't know what the back is. I don't know what the back is. The only back that I recognize are Backstreet and Blackstreet, which is not the same as Backstreet, but they're close enough.
But they're better.
Yeah.
My thing is that what really pisses me off about this is that this young child, and I didn't see the video of the child speaking, so I don't know their like ethnicity or anything like that. But I can think of a young middle school kid who's coming up there to speak. That's already really difficult.
It is.
And then I would assume, just thinking about working in a school, who they would probably have speaking, it would have probably been a child of color.
Mm-hmm.
It's Black History Month. You're talking about racial equity, like who would you have speaking up there? And now this child has to deal with racism and their parents having to explain this. I'm gonna have to see her outside. I'm gonna be outside Hunter, like, let's talk about it. Apparently, because now I want you to explain to my child's face what you meant. Why are we in the back? What are you teaching us to go to the back? What do we need to be in the back for?
Yeah. Well, personally, I am like it's always funny to me when motherfuckers speak their truth without muting themselves. That tells me that they grew up in the 80s or the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They're not technologically savvy. They don't know. I have been in a couple situations where I've said some out of pocket shit on a call thinking that I was muted, and I was not. Nothing like this. It was mostly I had an Amazon package and I was opening it up because I was super excited, and the rest of the Zoom could hear it, and somebody was just like, "Whoever's opening a package, could you meet your I'm like, okay, yeah, well, that's on me.
Well, hold on, I found a picture of Allison Friedman so everyone can.
Well, I mean, I don't want to dox the.
We're not
person.
doxing her. It's what she looks like. Her picture should be on the website. I'm not. First of all, we're so stupid. How could I have found her picture to even dox her?
To be fair, we're not in middle school.
I am.
You are.
I sure am.
You are in middle school. So
this is Allison Friedman. You can look at her face. Okay.
It's more Friedman.
Friedman? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Friedman. I thought you were saying that because her face was fried.
No. I'm sure her edges are fried, but
her split ends.
Yeah.
That she has out of this picture. Well, fuck you, Allison. You's a bitch.
I look at that photo and I can only think of one thing.
What?
That is a little bit upsetting.
Well, I hope she gets fired. I really do.
Yeah.
Not.
I'm sure she will.
Will she?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure she will.
I don't know.
People have been fired for less. So, it happens. It happens. It's Black History Month. Sorry, white women, but if you fuck up and you step out of line, you got to get fired. That's just what it is. White women for the longest time have been out of pocket because they felt themselves going for that number one spot after being number two for so long. And now society has literally been like, you're not a good replacement. You're not a good replacement for the number one enemy of the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been white men on top, then white women. And white women thought, oh, Barbie movie is out. Now we're going to take the number one spot. Every movie and every show has a fucking girl boss, and we're gonna be the ones running everything. And society has rejected that shit.
Well, I think that white women,
Societies have rejected that
I
shit.
think white women are so upset that they're not number one because historically, even though white men have been the face of racism, it's really been white women in the back pulling the strings. Like, so much of when you think about just American slavery, American racism, so many things were perpetuated by white women. Like, the white men might be the ones in the front, like doing it for pushing forward, but you need to have someone who's in the background saying, yeah, that person looked at me, that person winked at me, that person touched me, that slave girl raised her hand at me,
Yeah.
or whatever. So white women have always been puppeteers in the racial shenanigans, but they never get seen as it because they've portrayed themselves as these like little wallflowers and so dainty.
Yeah. So in my mind, it works as like white men have had like the majority of the power, and white women have had the privilege of being able to take advantage of that power without having the power.
Well,
you know what I
it's
mean?
like a soft power.
It's a secondary power.
Yeah, because
I feel like white women have been able to carve out power within the little bit of power that they were given by white men, which has still been historically way more power than anybody else has had, right? Yeah. But I would say in maybe the last few decades or so, white women have kind of looked at the landscape and been like, oh shit, we could take control of this power. You know what I mean? Like in a very Gollum from the Lord of the Rings sort of way. And it has not been like a distribution to everybody behind them. You know, it has been, no, we can do this better than what has been established, but they can't. I would say they can't.
Well, I mean, it was Susan B. Anthony who said she would rather cut off her right arm or give the Negro man the right to vote before the white woman.
Yeah.
Like, that just, if you think about at a time when this is, you know, post-Reconstruction, progressive era, so many people are stuck and starving and upset and unhealthy and all these things, that you are so afraid and so bothered at the idea of a black person or a black man having any more power than you, that you would push against them having the right to vote, which also is pushing against black women having the right to vote. Because we already talked about a week or so ago, when the suffragists changed Sojourner Truth's speech about working.
We spoke on that. We did.
The women's rights movement and all the things that black people were trying to do, they pushed against, which is like, if we had everybody working together, how much farther it would be. Because without black women, we wouldn't have any civil rights bills. All these things that we push forward benefit everybody, whether you're a man, a woman, black, white, yellow, brown, whatever. But white women, Karens, have never cared about that. They've only cared about themselves because they are selfish.
Agreed. Very much agreed. So, you know, it is what it is. I personally am glad that the way of girl bosses is kind of ebbing the other way and going the way of the dodo. But
Did you say of the dildo?
I said the dodo. The way of the
The
dildo?
way of the dildo. I didn't know.
Now that has to be the fucking title of that.
I was there, all right. Hey, dildos are still pretty popular.
The way of the dodo
The way
is
of the
what
dodo.
I was
Yeah.
referencing.
I mean, girl bossing, I think it's annoying because if it's like it completely.
I would like to have an episode, and maybe I could. Well, you have work tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I guess
Unless it's supposed to snow again today, it keeps sending me notifications.
We'll see. But I would like to have a episode where we discuss the landscape of media, especially like shows and movies from like maybe the last decade or so, and how it is everything kind of just sucks.
Yes.
It is not good.
So bad.
Everything is really, really bad.
The writing.
There's very few things out there that has like really good writing, really good
cinematography,
like
acting.
I would say like writing character work is like more important than like something can look really good.
Yeah.
But have like shitty characters and shitty writing.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I think some places.
Fucking Starfleet Academy.
You're just doing that to troll me.
No, I'm not sure. Well, first off, yes. And also, not a good show.
I personally
It's a terrible show.
do not think Starfleet is terrible.
It is terrible. It is
terrible.
And this is coming from somebody who is not a Star Trek fan. That show is horrible.
I think it's getting growing
horrible.
It's having its little first season growing pains. I think it's gonna get better.
It made a lot of bad choices, and it is indicative of bad storytelling. It is not good. It's not good. And I would like
Starfleet Academy.
What'd you say?
No, I'm telling the people to tell us their thoughts.
Yeah, tell us your thoughts on Starfleet Academy.
Because my thoughts are a mixed bag. Like I do feel like this show is centered and focused for, I guess, maybe those who are younger Star Trek watchers, maybe ones who have watched like the movies, but haven't necessarily watched all of the shows.
Tonally inconsistent with the movies,
like with the movies and the actual shows, because I would say even it's inconsistent with Discovery, which is I think
you would have to tell me that because I haven't watched Discovery.
Well, you've watched me sometimes you've been watching it with me sometimes when I've watched it.
I didn't even know you watched Discovery. I've watched you watch the original Star Trek, the Star Trek The Next Generation. I've even been around when you watched Deep Space Nine and the other one, Voyager. I think I've even been around when you watched Enterprise.
Yeah, that was
recent. To my knowledge, I had never seen you watch Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery,
or even Strange New Worlds.
Discovery and Strange New Worlds.
I've actually watched Lower Decks, which I like. I like Lower Decks.
I think it's inconsistent with Discovery because the premise of Discovery, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, they're doing their stuff in the stars, and they end up going fast forwarding like I want to say that 500 years into the future.
Sure.
Because something happens with their ship, and in order to save everyone, they have to go. I think it's like 500 years. So there's been a whole accident. Starfleet's gone in the way that it was before. So now it's rebuilding. That's why we have the Starfleet Academy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they're trying to gear it towards a younger audience, which I
have a problem with.
I think that some things don't
actually one, I don't even have a problem with Star Trek trying to gear towards a younger audience, but in placating the younger audience, it's really dumbing down that audience. Like it's okay. All right. Do you want to have this conversation now? We can have it now. Okay. Starfleet, actually, okay. We're going to have a quick discussion about my issues with Starfleet. Okay. I would like to take this time to have a discussion about Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
All right.
With a little bit of context, me and Odie have been watching the first season of this show, which can be found on Paramount. Odie is a resident Star Trek fan.
Yes.
She has watched the original. She's watched The Next Generation. She's watched Voyager. She's watched Deep Space Nine. She's watched Enterprise. All I have watched, quite frankly, is bits and pieces of those things and Lower Decks.
You've not watched the movies?
Not really. I've always been a Star Wars fan. Nothing against Star Trek, but I've been more Star Wars mostly. Like, that's been my thing.
Yeah.
And I will caveat by saying I see the appeal of Star Trek as a fandom. Like, I understand the appeal of its sci-fi, its exploration of different worlds, it's deep, like, political, like, in its nature. I understand the appeal of Star Trek. Having said all that, Star Trek Starfleet Academy is the worst show ever. It is a bad show.
All right,
and it is indicative of all of the bad traits of all bad shows that have come out of Hollywood and entertainment in like the last decade or so.
All right, what are the
It's
top 3 things
terrible.
that you find bad about it?
Okay.
Or if you have more than 3, it's fine.
I have a list. I have a list of all of the things that are wrong with Starfleet Academy. But it's more so, it's not even just Starfleet Academy. It's more so of a problematic issue with storytelling in general of the last decade or so.
Okay.
A little bit more context. I went to school for film. I'm a storyteller. I love stories. I inherently love stories. I love just the other day, I don't think I told you this, but I had a deep conversation with a close friend of mine where we were talking about like the Bible. And they asked me, what do you think about the Bible? And I explained to them that like I appreciate the Bible for the impact that it has had on culture as far as a storytelling basis.
Yeah.
Like it
It's
is
a very great story.
It's I wouldn't say it's great, but it's impactful.
Yeah, when I say
Like,
great story, I mean like the fact that it stood the test of time.
Yes.
It has these different narratives. It's
Yes.
teaching you something.
Yes.
We have these various.
It can work.
characters.
The Bible can work as a moral framework
Yeah.
that people can use to like, it makes sense to me that people can use the Bible for like a framework for like morality tales as far as like what's right and wrong, what to do, what not to do, that kind of thing. Does it have third act problems? Yes, it does. Like, is it primarily like as hyped as it is because of centuries worth of very good marketing? Yes, obviously. Right. But I appreciate the Bible for what it is because, like, at the end of the day, I can appreciate the stories that exist in it, right? Okay, here we go. The number one thing, not number one in order, but number one thing I'm shouting out, Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, modernism. Modernism in especially nonfiction and especially stories that are supposed to take place in the future. It is insane to me how Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, uses modern now language in Starfleet Academy. There's literally like in the first episode, like, oh, this is a teachable moment. And in my mind, like, I'm like, why would that be something that would be said thousands of years from now? In my mind, in sci-fi, like, there can be similarities, but with new language evolves over time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not necessarily using all of the language that we used to use from thousands of years ago and stuff like that, and certain turns of phrases and stuff. Like, there are turns of phrases that exist now that maybe existed like maybe 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 70 years ago, or what have you. But language evolves, language changed, language grows. You're telling me that a sci-fi writer cannot figure out how to adapt a language that might be analogous to now, but set in the future?
I think
that is ridiculous to me.
One of the things in respect to the modernism of it, I think that, and sometimes I don't find it as an issue, because I think that, because like I said, when you have thousands of years worth of readily available material, it's very possible that the certain things might stick with people throughout, right? And especially at that, if you're thinking in future where we are having all this access to.
But it gets ridiculous when all the characters are using the language of now.
Because like at one point,
like all of the characters just so happen to be super into 2025, 2026 speak in 1,000 years from now.
At one point when they were, I forgot, they went to class and he was like, I'm a Flabian bitch or something like that. I think that would be, that's
the cursing is weird.
Yeah.
Like, again, I'm not a Star Trek fan. You would have to tell me if Star Trek uses curse words.
The cursing is weird because in Star Trek, from what we've watched, not to say they don't have curses, but usually it's much more of a mix of curses from everywhere around the galaxy or whatever.
Sure.
There's some things that, of course, like arse is a curse that we've had for hundreds of years. We know that they were saying arse, whatever, in medieval times, like shite. Like, those are things that we know, yes, we use, but we're going to use them differently, and it's not going to be in the same vernacular in the way that we're using it. So I think those are things that I feel like they definitely did to have a younger audience, because even when you're watching something like Discovery, which is right before this, they're still very formal because, yes, in Starfleet Academy, they're not in Starfleet yet, so they're still in school and training. So there's going to be a little bit more, they're going to be a little rougher or whatever. But in Starfleet in general, we see throughout the shows, their speech is very formal. You know?
In the second episode, there was like a scene where they're walking down the corridor, and there was like, I have a question about, like, if we're sharing rooms, they're like, well, what about hooking up? Like, hooking up, like literally hookup culture, the shit that we do now.
Maybe they would have said coupling. You think so?
If they had said that, that would be different, but they didn't. They said hooking up.
And that part is where it's like, remember when I was telling you about watching why Enterprise was one of my least favorite shows?
Yeah.
Because it's a prequel to all of Star Trek, but it's written in a way that's very 2000s, very overly sad.
The use of that language dates the product to the now or to the then.
Yes.
In that regard.
And that would always annoy me because I'm like, well, there's some ways that there are certain characters, like a Vulcan is going to act historically a certain way. So to have a Vulcan acting completely different, especially because it's supposed to be like the first Vulcan in Starfleet, and they're acting so off from what we know Vulcans would behave like. Yeah, it's a little weird, even after time, maybe, but I still am never gonna get over this Vulcan Starfleet officer wearing this teeny tiny tank top to bed because that's not logical. It's not a logical thing you'd wear to work out, to go to bed, to be walking around. Because at the time, things are a lot more conservative, in a various ways. Like there are societies where things are more free, but even those societies, when they come into Starfleet, they always talk about the growing pains of Starfleet being very like regimented. It's like you're in the military, like you're literally in one huge military space, which is why.
Thank you, and I'm glad that you have said that, and I'm glad that you have pointed that out verbiage wise.
Because you have another. Let's go into your second.
This goes into my next thing. My next thing with Starfleet Academy is everybody has this sort of sameness to them.
What do you mean sameness?
Everybody. Okay, it's actually combined with another thing that I have, but everybody kind of has this sort of samey, like because everybody kind of sounds the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to distinguish one character from another. The only way to distinguish them from another, which is my other thing, is this fucking like identity as a fucking shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I understand that tropes have existed in storytelling in Hollywood for a very long time, but in this new generation and in this current generation, like people's identity has kind of been the shortcut for storytelling, which I do not like.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Star Trek, Starfleet, Klingon.
The Klingon. Oh, that's
Jaden.
Jaden. Yeah.
His name. I'm not gonna get into Jaden.
Jaden Cragg.
But I'm not gonna get into that name because I feel like it. Whatever. But I feel like they have speed run a character arc for Jaden as opposed to actual character development and character growth and character backstory.
Yeah, they're giving us kind of little blips of what we're assuming. Like, I would say up to now, from the episodes you've watched, I can tell that he's not a usual warrior. His type of being a warrior is different than other things.
For lack of better words, Jaden is coded as gay on the show
because he keeps his.
But because he is coded as gay on the show, that is in place of actual character development and character growth. Like it's insulting in the storytelling way of, because he is gay in his community or family is, patriarchal, what have you, or not in that way, like that fills in the blanks automatically for people to make assumptions about his life, and therefore he doesn't have to actually do the work of actually growing as a character. And that's very lazy.
I can see that.
It's like when I'll give an example. It's like did you see The Winter Soldier and the Falcon?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So in The Winter Soldier and the Falcon, by that point, Falcon had gone through many movies worth of character development and growth.
Yeah.
But in that show, they boiled him down to black man.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to maybe a guy who is experiencing the weight of taking on a mantle that requires more responsibility than maybe he was ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the identity that he had carved out for himself, and now he has to take up this identity that requires more than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's black man.
Yeah.
Black man with a shield. it's a shortcut, and I hate when stories like do the identity as a shortcut.
Yeah.
Because you use your own personal stereotypes as a consumer, as a watcher, you fill in the blanks, and therefore the character doesn't have to like present themselves in a complex way. You could just see that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also I think
It's lazy. It's
Identity-
very lazy.
identity, whether it be your race, your gender, religion, etc., that part of identity is not to say that it's not a whole part of you,
Mhm.
but I think that it's for who you are as a person, all the other things,
Mhm.
it's the least interesting thing about you, right? Like being a Black woman is amazing. This is great, but also the least interesting thing about me. There's so many other things that I'm interested in. There's so many other things that are part of my personality that, yes, they shape my personality because of my Black womanness. But it would require a little bit more heavy lifting and more actual work in creating the story and the narrative of who you are versus just giving us these little like Easter eggs about who you are.
But that's not what's being given. That's not what's being presented in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing, which I find in a lot of media more, and I would say this is probably because of what happened with antiheroes,
Mm-hmm.
starting with, I guess, Tony Soprano, like morally gray
Mm-hmm.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Morality can understandably be complex and nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we have leaned really hard on this idea that like there are no good guys and bad guys. There's just morally gray people. Like, oh, the bad guys might have like a good reason, and maybe from their perspective, the good guys are the bad guys, and maybe from the good guys' perspective, maybe they're compromised, and they're like,
You sound like Grover.
I do sound like Grover. Super Grover. But I understand that in the past decade or so, there has been a resurgence of complicated villains
Mm-hmm.
and complicated heroes.
Mhm.
And I'm not against nuance. What I am against is this idea that everybody is fucking morally gray. You know what I mean? Like there literally has to be a good, there has to be a bad, because otherwise everything is just gray. And when everything is gray, everything is fucking meaningless. In Starfleet, this little motherfucker who is the main character is
Caleb.
like Caleb. He's like, Starfleet is the worst. Starfleet is the bad guys because they fucking torn me away from my mom and stuff, right? Well, here's the thing. From what this show has presented me with, he was doing pretty good on his own. He's a hacker. He's physically fit. He's smart enough to fucking debate. He's like been doing a bunch of shit on his own outside of Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's literally the best there ever was, like no one ever was. And now Starfleet is bringing him into the fold, and Starfleet is the one that's bad. Right? Like, it's insane to me to think that, like, maybe you've done bad shit. Morally, you're fucked.
I will say,
You know what I mean?
like-
But the show doesn't present it that way. The show presents it like, oh, he's the best at everything that he's ever done. but he's just, you know, I hate this show.
I think that
I hate the show.
for that aspect of it, I think that
He's a married dude.
Why? Why is that explained?
He's the man version of a Mary Sue.
Oh, Mary Sue. I think you called him a married dude.
No, I said he's a married dude. I don't know what the male version of a Mary Sue is.
Yeah, but I remember you explaining.
Or it might be a Mary Stew. But he's a
Stew.
married dude.
Yeah.
Because he literally is just the best. Oh, also, that is actually another component of storytelling that I hate from the last decade or so, is that I think a lot of writers have gotten this idea twisted from therapy that they are good enough. Here's the thing. I completely understand the idea of the assertion that you are good enough. The problem with that, and the problem that becomes dangerous with that, is that now you have a bunch of lead characters and a bunch of main characters and a bunch of shows where the plot bends around them to show that, oh, actually, they were dope all along, and there's no character growth, there's no character development, there's no trajectory for them to fucking grow. Yeah. And you can see that in fucking the Captain Marvel movie. And that's where I first started feeling like this was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole movie of Captain Marvel was literally like everybody telling Allison Brie's character, like, you're too emotional. And meanwhile, she's just not emotional at all. She's snarky and shit like that. Like, she's not emotional. She's not expressing anything. She's nothing. But she's good at what she does. But like the overall arcing theme of that movie is that actually I don't have to listen to everybody because I'm already great. That is a dangerous story element to put out into the world and to copycat.
Yeah.
There's nothing inherently wrong with the idea of the affirmation that you are good enough. Mm. What is dangerous is that the idea that people are saying that they're taking the idea that you are good enough with, I don't have to learn or grow or progress or anything because I'm already awesome. I'm already dope.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's a terrible story. But one, it's a terrible story because it's boring. And two, it's a terrible story because that's a terrible precedent to put onto people.
But I think that idea is something that we are dealing with in education right now. Because there are so many students who are like, oh, like I'm smart enough, right? Like I can do this thing. I don't have to. The idea of like working harder to be even better, that you can become smarter than what you are and know more than what you are, is such a we as Americans, I think, like the idea of hitting plateaus, and I think our media connects a lot with the things that we're dealing with in our daily life of like, oh, it's good enough, but it's like, yeah, it's good enough, but it's not the best. Like, we all still can grow. There's
literally an episode, and we can watch it tonight because I watched it at your sister's house while you were asleep.
Okay.
It's the next episode of Star Trek Starfleet, where essentially the plot line is the one girl who's like one of the best captains and her father's an admiral and whatever. Her whole plot line is essentially boils down to this. She feels like she's about to be promoted to the next rank or something, and she feels like it's about to be because of nepotism. But as it turns out, she's like, actually, like, it's not because of nepotism, it's because she's good enough. Right? But throughout her journey in that episode, she doesn't prove that she's good enough or beyond. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a story growth thing. It it's a dangerous precedent to put onto storytelling. It's a dangerous storytelling element to have.
Yeah.
And those are the reasons why I think that Star Trek is Starfleet Academy is the worst show. It's not good. It's just not
to
good.
me, I could not call it the worst. I think that for one, this is its first season. So I always give shows their first season to get through some growing pains, hear feedback, do some changes, and all that stuff. Perhaps next season they will be changing up a little bit and making things a little bit more complex. I think that
But that's the thing. It was greenlit for a second season before the season even started.
Yeah, because
so
they already expect
it's not going to change. It's going to be more of this.
I mean,
they're not going to react to the first season and then grow and then evolve the storytelling with the feedback from the first season. It's just going to be no, I don't think so.
Because I think that if it's like you see what people are saying about the first season, yes, that you already got the green light because of the fact that this is such a huge series.
But they were already in production for the second season before the first season premiered.
Yeah. So maybe but I want to say, all right, maybe it may not be the next season, but maybe the third and fourth will really start getting deep.
I hope it doesn't get a third season. I hope it gets canceled. Quite frankly, this is a fucking travesty to Star Trek. No, it's doing more damage to the brand of Star Trek. It'd be one thing if this was like, honestly, this show would probably do better if it was the fucking Orville. You know what I mean?
I mean, okay,
it would do better if it was a different show, but because it's attached to an established brand, it's doing more damage to the entirety of the brand than actually helping.
While watching it, a lot of times I've been like, man, I missed the Orville because it was like, because it was its own thing. It didn't have to like hold on to any particular precedents. It was able to be silly, have deeper conversations, and also like still connect with the things we love with a Star Trek or whatever. So like that, I do understand that. I just hope that as it grows, it can become better. Like to me, I think the show, even though there's parts of it that definitely can use a lot of work, I do think it has the ability to grow, because I feel like for me, especially because I'm like a lot of the original Star Trek that I was watching, like after The Next Generation, most of those I was watching as a little kid with my mom or whatever, and then rewatching them as an adult, it's like it's a different perspective. I'm able to get more into it, and I think that they've had ups and downs when it comes to certain series, right? Like Enterprise is still the least favorite show out of all of them. Some parts of it's because it's in the past, so it's not as like technologically like savvy. But then other parts of what I've talked about, just the way it's just like too much of the time. So I'm hoping that the Star Trek Starfleet folks can learn from the previous mistakes and recognize like who your audience is, because I don't like your audience for Star Trek Starfleet Academy isn't necessarily going to be the same people who are watching like Vampire Diaries, right? It's going to be different. So maybe we just can give the folks who are a part of this fandom what they want, while also grabbing some of the new folks. Like you have all these pretty people on there.
No, cancel Starfleet Academy.
Don't cancel it. Don't cancel
the whole show. Throw it out. Throw the Starfleet Academy out. And again, everything that I've mentioned hasn't been the stuff that like I pointed out while we were watching it.
Yeah.
Like, of course I could point out fucking the fact that one girl ate her comm badge in the very first episode. And yet even though she ate her comm badge in the first episode, at no point has she was in the most recent episode and she's freaking out. Like, she is not Starfleet Academy material, but somehow her ass is still there.
Well, it's slim pickings. Everyone else is thousands of lives.
This is the military. This is the military. You're telling me the military is so hard out that they will keep this fucking ridiculous individual who ate her comm badge and who was running around saying red alert, red alert, red alert in the first episode, and somehow she's in the most recent episode freaking out again.
She'll be
no character arc for that.
She'll be an ensign. Maybe she'll die. Who knows? She's someone we'll see on the decks. But if she dies, she dies. If not, whatever. But is she gonna go far? Probably not. It's hard. It's hard out here for a pimp.
It's not that hard. All right, it's fine. We can move on to a new topic. What's next?
Well, something I'm very excited about in the TV world, Ryan Coogler's X-Files has officially landed a pilot at Hulu. And Danielle Deadweiler is supposed to star. So I'm very excited about this.
Where is she from? Or what else has she been in?
Let's see. I know she's been in a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Has she been in a Black Mirror episode?
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
I wouldn't be surprised if she has.
All right. So she's The Harder They Fall. She was in Till as Mimi Till, Station 11, which I didn't watch. Did you watch Station 11?
I did not. I also didn't watch Carry On, which is also where she's from.
Yeah. She's been in a lot of stuff. Scratch. Oh, that was good. P-Valley.
Oh, she's been in Oh, I was supposed to watch P-Valley.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it. I needed stars.
Yeah, I also needed stars.
She was in Atlanta, Greenleaf. Oh, Being Mary Jane. So she's been in a lot of stuff.
Okay, so she's been in a lot of Black shows.
Yeah.
And she's about to be in X-Files. Honestly, I'm not against this.
No, me neither.
I'm not against this.
And Ryan Coogler is writing it, directing it, and producing it. So that lets me know that we know it's at least going to have a really good story.
I think that because this is a passion project for Ryan Coogler, like I could see him doing justice to this story.
Because he said his mom, because he was talking about how with Rocky, that was something he and his dad really loved. We saw how he did really well with that. With X-Files, that was something he and his mom really loved. So he's getting both sides. He had already spoke about showing his mom some of his writings for it. She really loved it. So I'm looking forward to
as long as there isn't executive meddling.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can easily see this as an executive meddling thing. We've got a property that is well known and beloved, and we have DEI involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope that that's not the case. I hope that this is a well fleshed out lead character who is coming up with these weekly episodic adventures that both flesh out the lore of the story while fleshing out her as an individual character. I hope that that's the case. I really hope so.
Do you want David Duchovny and what's her name?
Gillian Anderson?
Do you want them to come back? Because so far there's no word on whether or not they're going to be in the show or not.
No.
You'd rather them not.
If they're doing it this way, if it's done well, then no.
Mm-hmm.
If it's done well, then no.
And I can see them coming back as not recurring characters, but working still in the.
But that's the thing. I don't want a nostalgia fucking clip of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're gonna show the old people and show how they're insufficient to be in this new world and that the new person has to take over. That is so much of storytelling lately.
Yeah.
Like it's literally has been like all of your old favorites are old and decrepit and they're out of sync with the new world and they can't hack it. That's why they need a newcomer to come in and do what they do better and pass the torch. Like, no, like I don't want that. If they're gonna do a new thing, do the new thing.
Yeah.
Divorced from the old thing.
All right, even with like Scrubs, because that's coming back up.
Well, the Scrubs has the old
cast. Yeah.
Cast. I assume that the old cast is just in charge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're in like positions of leadership. So maybe they can impart new wisdom onto the next generation of doctors.
All right. Okay.
Like and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just I hate this idea that has been prevalent where it's like we're gonna bring back your old favorites, but we're gonna show them as problematic and out of step and old and decrepit and wrong and everything, and then we're gonna have this new fucker who is better than them in every way. That's why Star Wars sucks.
Star Trek.
No, I'm talking about Star Wars.
Oh,
now.
okay.
Now I'm talking about Star Wars. That's why the new trilogy of Star Wars was terrible. It was terrible. And in hindsight, the first new trilogy episode, The Force Awakens, was terrible. It was a terrible movie. You know why? They literally made Han Solo a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
A terrible partner in
And
his
who would want that?
relationship.
Yeah.
And also, like, they regressed him to his old ways before his character development from the original trilogies.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was not good. And they did the same thing with Luke Skywalker. Like, I later found out that apparently people at LucasArts hated Luke Skywalker. Like, they in interviews, like, you could look in the background and they had X's crossed off.
Oh, no.
And it's weird. That's so weird. Why do you work for... It's weird that you would work for LucasArts.
Yeah.
You would work for a company and have an inherent hate for Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. You know what I mean?
It's the key part. It's like hating Harry Potter.
Yes. And that's why I think you should be worried about your reboot, your HBO show.
I'm already worried about it.
Can I tell you something?
What?
Harry Potter's HBO reboot, it's not going to be good.
Well, that's something we already know. It's not going to be good. No one's watching because they.
But that's the thing. They're
watching it for the nostalgia. The new people are going to watch it.
But why? But why are you okay with that?
I know. I didn't say I was okay with it.
You shouldn't be okay with
I'm
that.
not okay with
That's terrible.
Because to me, because of the fact that rewatching the movies reminded me how much was left on the table that we could do to fix it. And I always wanted it to be a TV show before I wanted it to be a movie. So it's like there's so much opportunity, but you know that it's not going to be nearly.
No, it's not.
What
they got a black Snape.
Yes.
Which is not good.
No, it's not. But here we are. What are we going to do?
I don't think you care enough about the fact that they got a black Snape
I think that,
as you should be.
I think the reason why
Odie is a Harry Potter fanatic.
Yeah.
She loves, from her head down to her toes, she loves Harry Potter.
I do.
And she has not gone on record to posit that the Harry Potter casting of a Black Snape is bad.
I think the reason
And
why
she should.
I haven't spoken about this new casting is mainly because of J.K. Rowling. Like, I have not put any hopes or dreams or fears or anything in the show because I'm still very much on the fence of whether or not I even want to watch it. Because that's all of her shenanigans. It makes me feel like whatever this is going to be, it's going to be. And at this point, because of her shenanigans and chicanery, I don't really have a stake in the fight. Like, I might end up watching it, right? I might. I'm not gonna say I'm not. I can't.
You
say that.
should.
But I think that if
Because they're about to have a Black Snape
it's gonna be so
where now the context for
bad.
everything
It's off.
surrounding him is very fucked.
Yeah.
You're about to have a Black Snape who loves this white girl
Yeah.
but hates her husband and her son. You're gonna have this Black Snape who literally is mean throughout the entire series to literally like everyone, including the son of this white woman that he loved. You're gonna have a series where he aligns himself with essentially the Nazis.
Yes.
And you're going to have a Black Snape who will eventually be regarded as supposedly a hero, despite the fact that the father and the friends of the father of this magical child were mean to him growing up, and how the woman that he loved went with the people that were mean to him.
I mean, in the book, it explains why.
Yeah.
A little
In
bit.
the book, it explains it, but it doesn't have the level of blackness in there.
Yeah. It's an extra
There's
level.
literally,
We're now gonna
you've
have
now created a whole fucking problem
creating
with
a character that is poor and bullied because he's poor, and then adding, even if they never talk about anything with his race, that's already going to be an added factor.
Yeah, it's added now.
He's now also untrustworthy.
Yes.
There's so
Literally throughout the beginnings of the book, Harry and his friends don't trust Snape. Why? Is it because he's black? Who knows? Because he's black. He is black. He is black.
I know it's
now.
I know it's the lowest stakes thing, but I'm still really concerned about what they're doing with his hair. It's so low stakes, but I'm really concerned. Because you get that wrong and it's really gonna turn out crazy.
All right. Well, with all this involved, we have derailed a number of times, especially because of Star Trek. Let's go and talk about the things that made us happy.
Right.
Okay.
No things.
What's making you happy?
What's making me happy this week is just getting to see my babies. That made me very happy. Spending time with them, getting to play with them, and just experiencing their growth and all that. So that made me happy.
All right. And what made me happy this week? Making that small child happy. Quite frankly, Kata, you're easy pickings. It's easy. No offense.
But he loves you.
No, I
He
know.
kept asking about you every time you were.
I know. And it's like, it's easy to appeal to people who like you. But me, I'm one of those motherfuckers who want to focus on the motherfuckers who don't like me. Desi. And I made her laugh.
Multiple times.
And the fact that I got her to laugh brought a smile to my face. Kata, you got to make me work for it. But Desi made you laugh. So there you go. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode. Thank you for enjoying the podcast. We appreciate you. Enjoy, laugh, like, subscribe, all the things. We will see you next time. Until then, take it easy, keep it sleazy. Otherwise, bye. If I can find the fucking okay, outro, and go.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snurdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snurdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's ThatsOD, and on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Sturdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.